Good evening, and thank you all for joining us here for night 3 in Atlanta. Just going to cut right to it. Got a big surprise for everybody out there in YouTube. I got Sean Griffith with me here tonight, the one and only Sean Griffith.
Surprise! I'm back. Man, you can't keep me away from this broadcast that long. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I've just been annoying everybody out there, and they've just said they missed you so much, so I had to bring you back. I couldn't let you just get away for the whole season, so here you are.
You know, I had a really good time the last 3 seasons broadcasting Speed Racing Network. Really, truly enjoyed it. But I took it as far as I possibly could with my knowledge and my skill set. And so we turned it over to Greg, and Greg has really taken it to another level. We could not be more proud of him, and I'm excited to be here tonight with it.
Well, I appreciate that. But, Sean, we got a race to get to in just about 14 minutes. The boys are wrapping up practice out here. It's been a wild one here in Atlanta all week, and I know you were kind of off last night. But, yeah, been a crazy one, and it's going to be just as crazy here in the Xfinity cars. Hot track down in the southeast, and the real drivers are going to come out to play here tonight.
You know, historically, Atlanta has been one of the better tracks in Speed Racing Network. We've had fewer cautions here than most of the other tracks. It's a nice 1.5 mile that has plenty of room to maneuver. But for some reason this week, people have not had the ability to keep the cars from turning. And so basically they've just been, a lot of this has been self-inflicted, where they're just overdriving the cars, and it's really become difficult for them to keep those cars going straight. So we'll see what the Xfinity cars can do here tonight, but hopefully they've learned from the last 2 nights.
Yeah, they've definitely been watching, and one of those things they probably have taken notice too is the restarts on cold tires. With them not worn in on the hot surface, it's not really mixing too well, but we'll figure all that out in a few minutes. But before we get to that, we got to get to the Gearing Up segment here on Sean. It's our interview segment here on SRN, and this week I sat down with last week's winner, Drew Balestros. Thanks again, everybody, for joining me here on the Gearing Up segment. I got with me the Phoenix Raceway winner from the Xfinity Series last week, Drew Balestros out of JW Racing. Drew, thank you so much for joining me. All right, right off the bat, it's been a couple of days since you got that win on Thursday night. How does it feel, man, to come away with such a dominant performance and really setting the tone for the rest of the year?
Feels great. I was not as excited about going to Phoenix after Daytona. I told my teammates that I had a lot of practice to put in. I never really liked the track. I'm not good at short tracks and flat tracks. Yeah, we put a lot of time, a lot of effort as a team. Had really good support in helping me find out where the fastest points were, where I could be better, and it paid off. So glad to get the win. But yeah, right back to work, ready for next week.
You're probably going to hurt people's feelings saying you don't like that track with the way you performed out there, but you know, it's been throughout the whole JW Racing team. You guys have been performing great in these first 2 weeks, the duels included as well. What makes it work so well over there at JW Racing? I know you guys practice a lot throughout the week. What goes into a practice session for you guys?
Yeah, well, all starts with good leadership. We have Justin Rideout, who's our team owner, and then we have Matt Robinson, who's our SRN Xfinity Series team lead. And so we try to make sure we're all on track together at least twice a week to put in laps, make sure we have a solid understanding of the fuel run, solid understanding of how the tires are going to perform on a long run, but also be able to make sure we can maximize on a good qualifying effort, because qualifying up front, depending on the track, you know, it's super important. And we saw it last week where even if we qualified up front and we still got caught up in wrecks with folks on the 3rd or 4th row. So it's hard to escape it, but our goal is to always qualify up front, have a good long run speed, and be patient. So yeah, a lot of practice and a lot of hours that go in each week.
Yeah, track position does go a long way week in and week out, and that leads in to my next question. You know, sometimes it doesn't work out for you in qualifying. You might find yourself middle of the pack, but you always find your guys moving up to the front, whether it's Truck Series or Xfinity Series. And I just want to know, are you guys more of the hard charger type where you want to get that track position, move up, and kind of control the race, or do you kind of sit back and practice a little bit of patience and let things work themselves out, considering how long these races can be? Which one is it?
Well, the goal is always to qualify up front as many times as we can, just to make sure we can stay out of the messes in the middle of the pack and towards the back. But we're totally content of not, if we don't qualify on the pole or top 2, top 3, top 4. Like this week, we knew I just did not have the speed to qualify, and I think Seth Reed put up a 0.2 or something along those lines, and I couldn't get below a 0.3 on the timestamp. So those kind of situations where you just know you're not going to hit those hot lap numbers that you're going to see in qualifying, but as long as you have good long run speed, can take care of the tires, then we just kind of let the race come to us. So that's kind of our strategy, is just making sure that if we can't qualify up front, then we just keep it clean, let the race come to us, and it'll work out in the long run.
Well, you mentioned saving tires. That's going to come into play big time when you strap up in just a few minutes to head out to Atlanta Motor Speedway, because this surface, we're racing on the old surface. I know they just repaved it and it's a totally different track now, but on iRacing, we are still on the old surface, which just eats tires up. So I'm sure you guys are going to be practicing quite a bit to save these tires this week. What should we expect to see from the JW Racing cars out of Atlanta and yourself? I mean, you've won at 2 very different tracks, being Pocono and Phoenix. How's Drew Balestros going to perform at the mile and a half, such as Atlanta?
Mile and a half is my favorite, especially Atlanta. I've won in Atlanta a couple of times in the 87s and in a Cup car, but Xfinity is a different beast. So I'm excited to see how that plays out. Really love the big track and be able to spread out, and the line seems to change every time we come back to Atlanta. I think last time, maybe last season, it was top line was king, and I don't think that's going to be the case this week. But we'll have to see how it plays out. So it's going to have to come down to being able to adapt to the track changes, being able to take care of tires, make sure that right front, right rear, you're not tearing them up. But this kind of track really suits me. I love to be able to just take care and feel the car and make sure that it's rotating properly and make sure I'm taking care of the tires. So it fits me better than I think it fits me at Phoenix. So hopefully we can get an even better result.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to seeing how you do out there. But, we got some interesting races coming up here in the next couple of weeks. We're going to Twin Rings one of these weeks. We're going to Circuit of the Americas. Also have Watkins Glen on that schedule. Pocono, which I know you're going to be looking forward to. And Talladega, all coming up within the next 5 weeks. What's sticking out to you the most out of that schedule?
Definitely COTA. I have the same feeling I had about Phoenix, but it's more realistic of a feeling of what I think is going to happen, and it's not going to be a good finish. So I'll put in all the practice I can, but they're just, sometimes there's just too many turns to remember, and I just don't know if I can do it. So, but we're going to do the best we can and get a lot of practice hours in. That's one that I'm not looking forward to, but I want to step up to the challenge and make sure we maintain a good points position and. Just get through it. It's one race out of a long season, so the goal is just to finish and move on.
Well, I think the benefit to that is that I think about 98% of the field is probably not looking forward to COTA, even though I love road courses, so it always is kind of a great equalizer and see who can limp to the finish in those races. But you're exactly right, it's going to be a doozy when we get out there. But Drew, we got time for one more question. I kind of set you up before we started the interview. What's a little fun fact about Drew Balestros that not a lot of people within the league would know?
Oh man, it's hard to say. I mean, I have one good hobby, and it's racing, and that's my rig back there. So that's my hobby. But yeah, I do love I love making pasta, homemade pasta,
Okay.
rolling it by hand, using a machine, that kind of thing, and making it at home. It just tastes so good and fresh. So that's what I try to do, try to make a good hobby out of it, because both it's fun and it tastes really good. So that's my other somewhat exciting hobby besides sim racing.
That's awesome, man. I would have never thought that. So thanks for sharing that with us. And I'll have to make sure my girlfriend hears that, because I love pasta too. So maybe we can start rolling it ourselves and making it fresh. But Drew, I do appreciate you stopping by here up at the SRN booth, and best of luck out there at Atlanta. See if you can make it back-to-back. You kind of touted yourself a little bit. We'll see if you can make it back-to-back at Atlanta.
Sounds good, man. I appreciate the time. Yeah, and shout out to JW Racing. Shout out to all the friends and family who are watching. ready to put on a good show. So let's buckle up and have some fun. But hopefully we'll see you next week.
All right, man. Good luck.
Thank you.
Zaga's out of the.
Oh, yep. There we go, Sean. And yeah, he talked about making his own homemade pasta.
Well, man, I got to tell you, I made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich last night, so I'm a bit of a chef myself.
Yeah, just extraordinaire in the kitchen, Sean Griffith. But, Sean, we got some points to take a look at. We got a tie for the lead between Drew Balestros, Seth Reed, our two winners here. And rounding out the top five going to be Jacob Manning, Nathan Sylvia, and Seth Berger. All these guys having great seasons to this point.
Drew Balestros not just cooking in the kitchen, he is cooking out there on the track also, and so is most of JW Racing. You can see Drew Balestros there, Jacob Manning there. I mean, so a couple of teammates, Michael Larch down there in sixth. They've got a really good bunch of guys, and they stick together on the track. And so everybody else out there is going to have to figure out a way to separate them so they have a prayer.
Yeah, and some more guys going to have some work to do as well to maybe work their way up, because it's getting to that point where it's going to start flying by, and we get to that middle way through the season, and you're out of cut weeks or drop weeks, and you're going to be looking for points anywhere you can get it. Big names on the outside here: Lucas Lyons, Brandon Domain. There's James Shanewolf, one of those JW cars. Danny Dow back here, Kyle Ryan, Ed Shearer. A lot of big names sitting outside looking in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at some of those names, and the ones that really stick out to me: James Shane Wolf, Bo Tiffany, Brandon Domain. Those are the top three that are really just sticking out, because they all three have the talent to be up there in the top 15 every week. They've just really caught some bad luck this season so far.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely keep an eye on them. Take a look, too, 40 of Tristan Bailey. He was a Final Five driver last season who had a chance at a championship in the Xfinity Series, so he's going to be looking to make up some ground here tonight. But another standings that we're keeping track of, that's the team championship standings, which is no newcomer here to the series. One of the favorite things that people like to compete in is the team championship, and JW Racing starting to run away with it. Got a 41-point lead over Highline Racing and Tank Racing, rounding out the top three here.
Yeah, this is one of the things that separates Speed Racing Network from some other races that are out there, some other leagues that are out there, is the team aspect of it. And you can see how well JW Racing works together, that they're that high up in the standings. But don't look past somebody like a Highline Racing or a Tank Racing or Bobby Anderson Racing, Jonathan Byer Racing as well. All these guys, they practice so hard together, and really all you have to do in this is be in the top 8 and you have a chance.
Absolutely. But yeah, going to be working for those seeding positions towards Week 13, because that will come into play big time depending on who you race out there. But taking a look at our sponsors here on Speed Racing Network, Silverback Tax Solutions, your company, Sean, who dished out $1 for each green flag last week to TJ's Team Foundation at Phoenix. So check them out if you got any issues with the IRS. They'll take care of you. Sparkle and Shine Mobile Detailing, like I always say, one of the best detailing companies out there. Butt Kicker jumping on board here this year. We'll talk about those standings for the Hard Charger race here shortly. And then, like I said, TJ's Team Foundation coming on board at morethanAcape.org. And like we always preach here, just go check them out. It goes a long way just to know what this organization is all about.
What a great foundation that helps out kids and their families that shouldn't be going through the things that they're going through right now anyway. You know, it's just such a horrible thing to have a child that is sick or a child that is hurting in any way. And so anything that we can do to make those families a little bit more comfortable, that's what TJ's team does. So go to morethanAcape.org and donate anything you possibly can to them, because I promise you every little bit helps. I know we donated a little bit last week. Silverback Tax Solutions donated a little bit last week throughout the course of those races, and we felt bad because it wasn't a ton. And what they told me was, that's okay. That's the amount of a light bill for a family. So it's huge.
Yeah, that was really cool to hear from Travis Anderson. And you just don't think about things like that. So do take your time, go learn more about them at morethanAcape.org. But like I said, wanted to get to the butt kicker here, because they're handing out a game or two to the Hard Charger in each series. And I have some standings here from the first 2 weeks in the Xfinity Series. And leading the charge so far is going to be Taylor Smith, averaging plus 20 positions so far on the season. Second place going to be Drew Balestros at plus 18. And then our very own Brandon Domain coming in at plus 16. And Sean, like everybody likes to say, and everybody knows here on the sim, these things are awesome.
Oh, they're a lot of fun, and I got to say something about Taylor Smith really quick. A couple seasons ago, he was the most improved driver in the series, and last season kind of had a down season, but this season we're seeing that resurgence again, where he's got some time to practice, he's getting out there on the track, and he is making waves. So that is one guy to look out for here tonight.
Yeah, he's made the playoffs before here on SRN, so no reason he can't do it again. I mean, granted, that was in the Cup Series, but he has the talent to do so. So good point there, Sean. But hey, we are gridding up here in Atlanta. Qualifying just wrapped up. We'll get to the grid here shortly. But yeah, we're at Atlanta Motor Speedway out in Hampton, Georgia. Very hot afternoon here down in the southeast. It is gonna be a good one here. But let's go ahead and get to that starting grid and see who's got the pole tonight. And that is going to be Max Service out of Tank Racing, with a time of 31.691, 32 thousandths of a second off of him. It's going to be Seth Berger, who won the Cup Series race here this week on Tuesday. So he's feeling a little froggy out there, maybe wanting to go 2 for 2 here in the races he's entered. Jacob Manning for JW. He's going to be the first JW car on the grid in third place. And Adam Pettit up in fourth, Sean.
Yeah, Adam Pettit coming back this season, the founder of Rev Racing, and he is back and ready to roll. But Drew Balestros, another JW Racing driver, in fifth. Kyle Benson from Murray Reedy Motorsports there in sixth. And Bo Tiffany, one of those guys that I mentioned that's kind of right outside the cut, he's in there in seventh for Rat Pack Racing.
Yeah, Seth Reed, who won the Daytona race, who's had a great start to this season, starting eighth. So our two winners on the season, both starting in the first 4 rows. Zach Deutscher, a great qualifying run. He's been doing really well this year, going to start ninth. Tyler Markle, out of Tank, starting in 10th. Then Season 1 SRN champion Logan Joyner, who's back here in Season 3, going to be starting in the 11th position with Tristan Bailey just to his outside. So some big names up here in the top 12, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, out of these top 12, I mean, there's nobody that you can pick as a definitive winner. This is going to be a lot like March Madness this season, where anybody can win.
Oh man, you got me nervous now because I totally forgot they're playing today, and my pick, win it all, Duke is gonna have a tough game against Texas Tech. I'm just not gonna look because we're gonna be very preoccupied here tonight. But Sean, I already had my pick made. I had a graphic made up, and Landon, unfortunately, gonna come down with some flu-like symptoms, he said, here tonight. So unfortunately, you're filling in for him. You got to hang out with me up here in the booth. But who you got tonight? I have no clue where you're going with this one.
You know, I don't know where you're going with this one, so I hope I don't take your pick. But I'm going to stay in the JW Racing camp. You know, Drew Balestros won this past race. Like I said, they've stuck together really well. I really think that they're in fourth place. Right now, Jacob Manning is your guy. He's actually down in third place, but he's, down there on the bottom. Jacob Manning, I think, is the guy for JW Racing this week. And if he can get linked up with Drew Balestros and a couple friends, I don't think anybody's going to stop him.
All right, you didn't take my pick, so I'm happy about that. I'm going to go a little bit further on back in the pack. Take that Silverback Tax Solutions car, who got his very first win here last year. Took him so long to get that first win. I'm taking Aaron Gerwitz, my good buddy out of Rev Racing, my former teammate. I think he's going to go 2 for 2 here in Atlanta and come away with a great night here.
Would not shock me one bit. I mean, and he's been up there. He deserves it. He is just one of the classy guys in the league. So hopefully he will do a great job here tonight.
Well, back up front, Max Service going to be leading the way. There you hear it from Race Control. Jason Tripp and Sean Kozer are going to have that duty here tonight. But Max Service sees that pace car peel off, and the Silverback Tax Solutions green flag is out here in Atlanta. A great restart.
Oh, somebody in the wall already. The 42 of Tyler Markle in the wall already, and he is going to fall back drastically from the start.
Yeah, there you see him up on the high line. Something we've seen, and we had talked about this at the top of the show. These restarts are no joke here, especially on cold tires with how hot this surface is. And, man, it is getting really dicey back here. Oh, the 22 of Chris Bishop getting turned.
Now, he is down off the track, and we've seen that all week this week where there's not a yellow flag unless he comes back up onto the track. And so it looks like it's going to stay green as it sits right now.
Oh, having trouble getting that car. It's really out of shape on him. He can barely keep it going on the track. Unfortunate break for him, but let's head back up to the front of this thing. See a
Yeah,
battle
there's a big
here.
battle here.
Yeah, between Seth Reed and Drew Balestros, our two winners on the season, side by side here up front.
Yeah, it looks like right now, actually, Jacob Manning is the one that's up front there in the 50 on the left side, or I'm sorry, on the outside.
Yep.
Doing a great job. My pick on his way already.
Yeah, scoring, just throwing some fits here after that crazy start to this one. But Adam Pettit up in second place early on, already up 2 spots. He wants to lead some laps, get back out in front here in SRN. You talked about it. It's good to see him back here racing with us. And he's always had the talent to get up here and win these races. One of the more patient drivers out there, knows how to save them tires. He taught me a few things about that. And we'll see how far it goes here tonight. This is one of the tracks where you need to know how to save your stuff.
You know, Adam Pettit and his wife just had a baby not too long ago, and I got to tell you, he needs this money here tonight for diapers. So let's see if he can get it done.
Yeah, well, I think he's going to need more than that. So he's going to be looking at that season championship where they walk away with $500. He can get a few more diapers, maybe like a couple more packs, huh? With that, you would know, Sean.
Yeah, it doesn't go as far as you think it does. But, hey, back here in 5th position, you got Max Service. And in the YouTube chat right now, I'm hearing that Max Service won the Outlaws Sim Series race at Atlanta last night. And so he's got some momentum going for him here in 5th place.
Yeah, well, a battle with him and Kyle Benson to his inside. And that number 10 Beef Stroganoff
Love that car.
Chevy Camaro, really cool-looking car. I just couldn't help but laugh at the sponsor, but yeah, it's a great looking piece out there. And just to their outside, they have a full dose of Zach Deutscher, who's looking to make this thing a little interesting. He's moving up quite a few positions, already +3 on the night, trying to get it to a +4 as they're 3 wide in a very narrow part of the track. Got really close to a little dicey moment there.
Yeah, that was the one part of the track that you just don't really have that much room to do that. They made it through it really well, but for the most part, you can go 3 wide on this track fairly easily.
Zach Deutscher gets the spot. He's at +4 on the night so far, but Jacob Manning still keeping that gap between him and Adam Pettit, about 0.2 of a second. And then Adam Pettit has a really big mirror full of Drew Balestros, who's right on his bumper.
The worst thing that Adam Pettit could do right now is let Balesteros by. He's got Zach Deutscher coming up behind him for some help and that sort of thing, but if he lets these 2 cars get linked up, it is going to be tough to catch him.
Yeah, so JW Racing doing what they've done in both the Truck Series and Xfinity Series all season long, and that is just dominate these races. So 2 cars in their camp already to the front and checking in through the rest of the field. Michael Large sitting in 10th. James Shamewolf in 12th, and Matthew Robinson in 13th. So all 5 of their cars in the top 13. You could see another JW Racing win here tonight, but a long way to go before we sort that out.
Yeah, they have been all over this series all season long, and a lot of people don't understand exactly how much these guys practice together. Last week for Phoenix, they practiced 400 laps each. That race was only like 125 laps long. They practiced 400 laps each. Can you imagine how much time goes into that? And that is why they are not scared of race day at all. They know exactly where they're supposed to be, exactly what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, and they just know how to lean on each other for information as well. And I've talked to a few of them. Oh, Tristan Bailey gets really loose there on the exit of 2, able to save it. Dicey moment for the 88, but loses some positions. But yeah, like I was saying, they know how to lean on each other for information, and then when it's time to not lean on each other anymore, they know how to battle one another cleanly, and it's been some great finishes to these races of late.
Yeah, and really in the past week, this week, we've had some really good races overall, both from the Cup Series and the Truck Series. We've had a lot of green flags, and then for some reason we have a couple of cautions there, and then it just turns into more and more cautions. But this is one of those tracks that potentially you could go more than half the race under green, and that brings into account pit strategy at that point.
Yeah, so we'll find out right now. Looking like this thing's starting to get separated a little bit throughout the whole field, and we've seen a few green flag stops here throughout the course of the weekend in both the Cup Series and the Truck Series, so I would not doubt more of that here tonight in the Xfinity Series. But you just see from this angle all the lanes that they have to run here at Atlanta, and this is probably one of the tracks with the most multi-groove personality out there.
Yeah, everything that people have been telling me all week is that the top line shreds your tires, but it still stays fast enough that you can keep up with the person on the inside. So there's really not a right or wrong answer here. And that's what makes this track fun. And I know that it was repaved, and I know everything's changed, and we'll find out how that works next season when we come back here. But for right now, this is some great racing.
Yeah, battle between Logan Joyner, Tyler Murray, and Tristan Bailey. You see just these cars getting really squirrely. And that's not Logan doing that by design. It's just this backstretch is so bumpy. And he, just like I've been saying, he's just really loose in that 3-car. You can see it getting out of shape. But it's like skating on ice. That's the only way I can describe how it is to race here. So I'm not
Dylan
envious.
Patterson off pace. I apologize I didn't mean to cut in front of you there, but Dylan Patterson way off pace there. Not sure what happened.
Yeah, not too sure what happened either, but he's going to keep it going in the right direction.
It looks like, wow, he got really, really loose off that corner, and then he had the 91 car kind of get into the back of him. That's Kyle Wimble that got into the back of him.
Yeah, I was just talking about it. These cars are just not happy here, especially in Atlanta. And I was going to say before I was rudely cutting off by my co-commentator here, Sean Griffith. No, I'm just playing. I'm not envious of these guys one bit. This is one of the toughest tracks. I was not thrilled that it was the championship race last season because it is the toughest, in my opinion, of the mile-and-a-half circuits. So, yeah, they're going to have their work cut out for them cutting to the stripe right now to start lap 15. Still 96 laps to go around this dicey, very hot circuit that is just buried in the southeast heat.
You know, a lot of people will think that short tracks are the hardest tracks to drive, and it's just not true. It's these mile-and-a-halves are the toughest ones because these are the tracks that typically go green the longest. And why that makes it tough, all of the strategy comes into play. Everything comes into play in this track because you make one mistake during a long green flag run, you're not getting back around this pack until it goes caution.
Yeah, so we saw a 90-lap run happen earlier on in the week in the Cup Series and another decent run last night. Not nearly 90 laps, considering that was the length of the truck race. But, yeah, we've had green flag runs, and you kind of talked about it when we came on the air. It's kind of wild how this is where we have some of the best racing and the least amount of cautions here. It's very good racing here in Atlanta.
Yeah, you see the hard charger there with Jack Hedgecox currently, but right behind him, there is some insane racing going on, a lot of weaving and dodging and everything, and so he is just happy to be out in front of that stuff because it was 3 wide, then 2 wide, then almost 4 wide there for a second, and so he just wants to get away.
Yeah, you see Brandon Richardson battling with Zachary Taylor in that 14 Eric Church-themed Chevy Camaro, and then Danny Dowd just behind them. Look how dicey it is back here, and this is just all these cars getting loose. Tyler Murray, very sketchy back here in this green number 16 TJ's team Chevy Camaro. He's losing some positions here early on, already down 6 on the night.
Yeah, all the drivers right now over the chat talking about how dicey it is out there, and it has to do with the track temperature and just trying to get a hold of these cars. And so, yeah, everybody's struggling out there, and I think the winner of this race is just going to be the most smooth driver.
Well, I mean, they think they have a tough week this week, Sean. Boy, are they going to have their hands full next week when we get out to Circuit of the Americas, our first road course on the year here in Season 3. And, Sean, I don't know how much you've raced here. We raced there last season. It is by far the hardest road course circuit in these stock cars.
I was just going to say that. We introduced it last season, and so did NASCAR. NASCAR introduced it into their series as well, and that's what all the drivers in our series and on NASCAR series said was it is just so hard because it's so big. There's so many turns. There's so many tight turns there. There's a lot of braking, a lot of ups and downs. Everything is crazy there, and it just magnifies all the mistakes you make. And so when we go to COTA, believe me, the driver that wins at COTA will be the best driver that day.
Oh, for sure. And a new rule this year with the road courses here on SRN, I think it's a great rule. They're going to kind of throw out maybe a stage break. It's not going to award any points, but halfway through those races next week, we're going to bunch that field back up and kind of get the field a little bit closer together, because it's going to get spread out early on a circuit that is that big. But Sean, that's not all. We got Twin Ring coming up just after that, which is, who knows what that's going to be. A lot of these guys don't even own the track. I don't own the track. I was going to talk to you about that, Sean. I need you to pay my bill for that.
We're going to have to front some money there.
Pocono, after that, it's just, I mean, yeah, it's been on the circuit for years, but it is not easy by any means. Watkins Glen, another road course, so 2 road courses in the next 4 weeks, and then Talladega, where anything can happen. It's an awesome schedule that you guys put together this year.
Look at that lineup. And look, Twin Ring, the reason we wanted to go to Twin Ring was just to do something different. You know, NASCAR kind of stays in the United States for the most part, and we just wanted to have something that was just so different that nobody would be prepared for it, and I think we succeeded in that.
I think you did too, and I think it's going to be a really fun one, and I know we like to make picks in the pre-race show. I have no idea which direction I'm going to go with that. I don't even know what the track looks like. That's how foreign it is to me, and I mean it's foreign. It's in Japan for sure, but yeah, nobody knows what we're getting into, and I think that just adds to the excitement and the flair of this season, and can't wait to get out there. But yeah, they're gonna have their hands full these next couple of weeks, so gonna have to get everything they can here tonight in Atlanta, because everything is a big question mark these next 5 weeks.
Yeah, it's just, you can't really prepare for something like a Twin Ring, because we're actually going to go out and buy a setup from someone, so that way everybody's on equal setup and everybody is practicing this thing basically for the first time here on iRacing. Some of these drivers out here have been on iRacing for 8 years, and so they've practiced these races over and over and over again. When we go to Twin Ring, man, I'm telling you, it is going to be the equalizer.
Yeah, I can't wait, but it's going to have to wait because we got some business to tend to here. It's heating up back here for about 10th, 11th, and 12th. Tristan Bailey holding on to this 10th place position right now, but just behind him, he's got Matthew Robinson and Logan Joyner. Zach Deuscher starting to fall quite a bit after he was nearing the top 5 of this race, so maybe used up his stuff a little more than he wanted to early on. Now has his hands full in that number 2 Rev Racing Ford.
Which is odd, because Rev Racing has always been so good at conserving tires. And so that's one thing that they practice on an awful lot, is how to conserve tires on the long run. And it does seem like he's kind of used it up right now. Maybe we're just completely wrong on that, but it looks like that's what's happened.
Yeah, we'll find out here in the next couple of laps, because this is the money-making time when they get really tight right here between Mike Lepicki and Kyle Spees. They stay off of each other, but man, that is usually when we see Uncle Netcode show up. Luckily, not showing up here. Maybe he's a little late tonight to this one. Luckily, they stay off of one another. But yeah, Kyle Spees, Mike Lepicki, you couldn't even fit a sheet of paper between those 2 cars.
Yeah, Mike Lepicki been in this series literally since day 1, and I mean he's always been one of the better drivers out there, and he's kind of had an up and down last couple of seasons here. But when he's on, he is on.
Oh, Adam!
And so,
whoa! Wow, Adam Pettit got real loose and squirrely. Sorry, Sean, cut you off a little bit there. But man, he did everything he could to save that car as much as he could, but it's got some significant right front damage now to that Ford Mustang. After a great start tonight, he's fallen back now to 7th with a full mirror of Max Service just behind him. So he may need a caution to get that thing fixed up and headed back in the right direction. I'm not counting Adam Pettit out by any means, though, this early on.
Yeah, that was a self-inflicted wound there. Nobody else touched him or anything like that. It's just he came off that turn and just lost it. And that's what we've been seeing all week long, are people coming off that turn and just completely losing the handling of the car. And that's going to take him outside the top 3 and possibly ruin his race tonight.
Yeah, I'm not going that far yet, but it's probably going to ruin what he wanted so far. And he had that great track position where he was running 3rd. Was about to lose 4th, I think, or move back to 4th, with Drew Balestros getting by him. But now he's got his hands full back here for 8th, 9th, and 10th. Tristan Bailey making a move to his inside now. He wants to pick up that 8th position, and that car just does not look happy at this point. Very surprising to see just how bad the handling is on this 58, and I think it's going to keep moving back, like you said.
Yeah, he is struggling bad, and he finally didn't have a car to his inside there, but now it looks like he's about to again. And so he's just got to figure out a way to get this thing around there until he gets into the pits to see how bad that damage is. And pit stops are already starting. I just heard Danny Dow in the 21 call it out.
All right, well, we'll keep an eye on all those happening here live. You're exactly right. There's Danny Dow coming down pit road, and I believe...
Oh, and he spins it!
Oh, this is one of the hardest pit entries. We've heard them talking about it all week long on the Discord. They are not very fond, and just look how long it takes him to get that car heading in the right direction again. That was a good 20 seconds that he just lost right there.
Yeah, that is just a killer. And out there on the track, 20 seconds is almost half the lap. And so he just doesn't have time for that stuff.
Oh, yeah, he is going to lose some significant time, if not the lap itself. Not sure how far back he was from the leader, Jacob Manning, when he came down pit road, but would not be surprised if Danny Dow is a lap down. And you just see that's the leader getting out of shape on the exit of 2. Nobody is safe out here tonight. And Jacob Manning is trying everything to keep that car happy right now, running the middle lane so far.
You know, and going back to Danny Dow, a lot of people are going to see what just happened there and be like, man, that's just a rookie mistake. You have to remember, that guy was the winner of Mid-South Madness Season 2. That guy has won a championship before in this series. So, a rookie he is not.
Adam Pettit coming down pit road. We said he was not happy, and he wants to come down pit road and get this thing taken care of and maybe fixed up a little bit. So he'll see if he's able to work his way back up to the front. But Jacob Manning with a sizable lead over second place Seth Reed. He's got 1.7 seconds and growing on this field. Jacob Manning feeling it early on, leading every lap of this one so far.
Yeah, just keeping an eye on Adam Pettit right now. It does not look like he took any repairs this time. So he came in, just got a normal pit stop, went right back out. And so so that car is still damaged. He's still hoping for a caution, so he has a little bit of time to play with it.
Yeah, people might think I'm a little bit biased, but Adam Pettit, one of the smartest drivers I know, he taught me early on, you never fix damage under green flag conditions. It's just not worth it. You're going to lose more than you gain. Just ride it out until you maybe get that yellow flag and you can kind of get your lucky break and fix it under yellow flag conditions. But another one coming down pit road this time is going to be Logan Joyner in that 3 machine running as an independent this season.
Yeah, and he was sideways coming in there as well. And so, yeah, just coming off that turn, you've got such big speed. It's already, the tires are already worn. It's already loose. It's hard to get that thing turned straight to begin with, and now you have to dive even deeper to get into pit lane while braking.
Taking a look at Max Service. He's worked his way up into the top 5 now. You see him get loose off of 4. It is just madness out here right now. But taking a look, man, we got a battle back here for Kyle Benson and Michael Arch, the 2 pink cars on the track, really close to one another, leaning on each other right there. Kyle Benson trying to take that position for Michael Arch. He's going to do just that. So Benson up into the 10th position now, or excuse me, in the 7th position in that 10 car.
And I just heard a call out from the 20 of Brandon Domain. He is about to come down pit road. So we'll see how old broadcast partner gets into here. It's something that he has been working on and he's seen other people struggle with. Let's see if he can do it any better. It looks like he had to brake check just a little bit there, but not nearly as bad as what we've seen.
Attaboy, Brandon. Way to get that thing woed up and down on pit road. I think he is good to go here, but good job. We'll see where he comes out. Battle side by side between Kyle Spees and Aaron Gerwitz. Looks like Kyle Spees going to pick up that spot. Surprised to see Aaron Gerwitz only in 16th, but we know he is not a hard charger. This dude just hangs around, and just, it seems to work itself out by the time the end of the race comes around, and he is in the top 10, top 5, gaining all the points he can get.
You know, as young as Aaron Gerwitz is, he has learned how to do points racing better than anyone else on this entire track. And that is just hang out where you are, let others make the mistake, and then capitalize. Don't push it too hard. All he has to do is survive. If he survives, then he'll make it into the playoffs, and then that's when he goes crazy.
Yeah, Nathan Sylvia to the inside of Bo Tiffany. Bo not wanting to give it up, and Bo has been a playoff driver here consistently on Speed Racing Network, so he wants to get every position that he can get because he knows that points are super important. But now James Shanewolf, one of one of the most exciting newcomers to the series last year. He got the spot in the playoffs by winning that first playoff race and made some noise here in SRN by joining halfway through the season. So James knows how to get it done. He wants to join his teammates up front and currently up 7 positions from where he started, currently running in 11th.
And I mean, that's what you can expect. And again, another JW Racing driver there. One of the things about James Shanewolf is when he came into this series last season, there were some drivers that were just like, oh, crud, James Shanewolf is here. As if, dude, I'm scared of that guy. He knows what he's doing. He's a really, really good driver, and he has proven that. So don't sleep on him, even though he's here in 11th place. He's just biding his time.
Yeah, he will be there when it counts, but you're right. There were a lot of those guys that knew we're going to have our hands full with this guy, me being one of them. I knew exactly who he was. I've raced with him back in the console days with our very own Jordan Bain and a few other guys. So I knew who he was, and I am not surprised to see the success that he had very early on here in Speed Racing Network. But his teammate Jacob Manning having a lot of success here early on tonight. That car just looks super smooth, knows the lines to run here, and just picking up time on big hitters here. Seth Reed and Seth Berger, the 2 Seths in the league, just behind him. Seth Berger already won this week in the Cup Series, and he's just putting time on that 77. And then Drew Balestros, who's gotten the win last week at Phoenix, 2-time winner here in SRN, and then Max Service. So a lot of fast cars that Jacob Manning's making this look easy on.
You know, and hopefully I did not put the broadcaster's curse on him by picking him, but you can just see when we had the top 12 that we had when we started this race off, we said, man, that is a killer top 12. Jacob Manning is destroying these guys right now. That is how on he is right now.
Yeah, he is. And Seth Berger making a move. I know the Berger Nation will be excited to see that. So Seth Berger now up in the 2nd position in that number 77 Berg Arts sponsored tank racing Ford. That thing looks pretty good out there. He shared a picture of it before in the Discord, and man, I want to get a better look at that. That thing is looking sweet.
Yeah, if you don't know what Berg Arts is, so Seth Berger is actually a fashion designer. He designs clothing, and that's his clothing name. And so you can actually go on to, I believe it's Shopify, and you can take a look and see what he's got.
Yeah, dude, take a look. He always gives it a shout out in his post-race interviews. Super cool dude out there, and like Brandon said, he's got one of the best manes out there. He's got some good head of hair on those shoulders. So Seth Berger doing really good here tonight and putting himself possibly in position to maybe steal another one here tonight. But we kind of missed it. Leader came down pit road, Sean. He is getting 4 tires and fuel. We'll see if everybody else seems to follow. Looks like a lot of people on pit road, like 8 or 9 drivers so far.
Yeah, he gave up that lead to Seth Berger just temporarily. Now Seth Berger and Max Service are both coming in at the same time as well. Tristan Bailey is going to end up taking the lead because of that.
Yeah, we had Drew Balestros and Seth Reed coming down too. So Tristan Bailey getting that extra point there, that bonus point, which, man, I can preach that those are super important when it gets down to time for playoffs. And, man, so he's going to go out there, get that point, and possibly see him come down pit road this time because it is a big difference. I can bring up his last lap. Oh, he gets really loose, and he's going to spin it.
He held on to it. It's definitely going to cost him a lot of time there, but he held on to it long enough that he didn't spin all the way around.
Yeah, I wanted to show this before he crossed the start-finish line. He's 2 seconds off his best lap, so you cannot stay out there too long after these guys go down and pit. So he didn't want to waste it, but, man, he definitely lost a lot of time with that slide, but I think it was the best outcome possible for him after that slide to just kind of stop it where he did and get that thing headed back in the right direction. So looks like James Kerr is going to be our leader right now in that 75 Toyota Supra out of Jonathan Bayer Racing. So we'll see how long he stays out. Looks like he's going to come down. So pressure's on, James. you just saw what happened to Tristan. Let's see how well he gets on pit road.
Looks like he's going to do a little bit of a better job there, and that's going to turn the lead over to none other than Adam Pettit, who had the trouble a little bit earlier, but now he is back up there, up in the lead. But Jacob Manning is on 11-lap fresher tires, and he is on his way.
Yeah, you can tell by the last lap there at the bottom right of that box. He's already a second off of what you run on fresh tires. So Jacob Manning, who is 4.5 seconds back, yeah, sounds like a lot. It's going to take about 5 or 6 laps for Manning to catch up. But, I mean, given what happened to Pettit, I think this is a great outcome for what it was looking like maybe a bad outcome to this race. We'll see how it works out for this 58.
Yeah, if he can just hang on to it, and get to the next pit stop, because most of these cars were coming in between laps 33 and 38, basically cutting this race into thirds. And so if Adam Pettit can hang on for about 33 laps to get to lap about 65, 66, then that should be the last pit stop before he goes in. It doesn't look like he's lost all that much time.
No, not at all, but, man, you can see him right there. He's 3 cars up from Jacob Manning, just ahead of that green and red car. These 2 cars in front of him. So 2 cars splitting Adam Pettit and Jacob Manning, and you can just see that gap. And Jacob Manning just ran a lap. That's 2/100ths of a second off of his best lap time here tonight. So he is ripping around this course. And now I'm just going to sit on this nose cam until Jacob Manning runs him down. You can just see how quick he is. It's going to be in the next lap that he passes Adam Pettit.
You know, I got to say, during the interview, we were talking to Drew Balestros, and he had this sweet JW Racing hat on, and Jacob Manning has the same hat on. So just listen to me very closely. JW Racing, we're the broadcasters. We need hats, man.
Yeah, we like hats. We like merch. Who doesn't like merch? So I think we. You know what, Sean? I knew there was a reason I got you up here.
Did that sound like begging? Did that sound like begging at all?
No, not at all. But here he is. He is just behind Adam Pettit. He's not going to put up a fight at all. He's telling Jacob Manning to go down low, and Jacob Manning reassumes the lead here in Atlanta.
And Drew Balestros not terribly far behind. So, in fact, Adam Pettit just came over the voice chat and said, "Thanks a lot for letting me have the lead for just a little bit. I appreciate it."
Sense of humor is definitely within the realm of Adam Pettit's personality for sure. So he knows that it was a long shot by any means and had to do an early pit stop. But you're right, that's just the difference between 11 laps and tires. So we'll see if it pays off for Adam. You see Dylan Patterson coming down there on pit road now as well. So everybody now come down and gotten that first green flag pit stop out of the way. And Sean, just like that, we are 4 laps away from the halfway mark here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, this race has gone relatively quickly. Now, this is Dylan Patterson's second pit stop of the race. He's got a lot of damage there. He's had some trouble back there in the back of the pack. So hopefully he can get that thing straightened out and get right back out there. One of our better drivers last season. So tough to kind of see him in the back here because it's a little bit different. But up front, Jacob Manning just putting it on everybody.
Well, here is the next guy that's going to be flying by. All I can think of is Talladega Nights, where Ricky Bobby's like, "Were those the other cars?" Because that's just how much faster these guys are on just 10-lap, 11-lap fresher tires. And you can just see how unhappy that 58 car is here in a big run by Drew Balestros. He's going to do the same thing, take the inside here, and go right on by Adam Pettit. So now Drew Balestros back up to second place here.
Yeah, Seth Reed only about a second and a half behind Adam Pettit here as well. So Adam's going to start losing these positions really, really quickly because he is on 11-lap older tires than all of the top 10. And so he's probably going to fall back quite a ways. He could really use that caution to get a little bit of repairs. But if not, then, I mean, he could still come away with a top 10 if he just hangs in there.
Well, I want to check in on Tristan Bailey, who we saw get really out of shape and just pretty much, as he blinks out there, gets really out of shape heading on the pit road. He was 5th, I think, when he came down, or when those round of green flag pit stops started. So lost 6 positions from just that little mistake on pit road entry. And Sean, I'm sure you saw. I know for a fact. I know you watch my interview segments. Seth Reed, he preached just how important learning all the ins and outs of pit road entry, pit road exit, and just nailing your pit stops, how far that goes in these races, and it can really cost you in the end if you don't.
Yeah, I mean, one of the stats that we look at as broadcasters is pit lane time and pit time. Well, in iRacing, pit time, actually spending time in your pits, is relatively the same because they want everybody to kind of be on equal ground. Pit lane time is from the start of pit road to the end of pit road. How long are you in there? And right now, I'm looking at, after that first pit cycle, about a 1.5 second difference between the best and the worst. 1.5 seconds out there on that track right now is about 1/10 of the track.
Yeah, so we will see how he does the next round of green flag pit stops, because we are just over the halfway mark now after the leaders crossed the stripe this time. So halfway done with this race. Tristan Bailey going to have his work cut out and see if he can gain all those positions that he lost. Just went by Brandon Domain for that 10th position. Brandon's starting to fall a little bit as he's on much older tires than the rest of these guys, but Tristan Bailey is flying through this field as he goes by the lap car of Travis Anderson. He's got his sights set on Bo Tiffany now, just ahead of him. But yeah, Seth Reed now, he is worked by Adam Pettit. So Seth Reed now back up to third, Adam Pettit back to fourth, and now he's got Seth Berger just behind him. So it's going to feel like he has a parachute on the back of this 58 with the difference in tires right now. But I'm going to be really curious to see, Sean, how it works out, because I know he's going to try some pit strategy here to get to the end. Once he hits that window, I think he's going to come down in that 58.
Yeah, I mean, with everybody as spread out as they are out here on the track right now, it doesn't look like a caution is going to come easily. Not saying it's not going to be caution, just saying not very easily. There's got to be some racing somewhere to have a caution. And so because of that, I really think now people have to start thinking, okay, how do I either maintain my position or better my position on this next pit stop? And so that's going to be the strategy part of all this stuff. Jacob Manning, Drew Balestros have driven away from the pack right now. Now you got to start thinking about, can I make it up to third place?
Well, 2 JW Racing cars going to go right on the outside of Adam Pettit. That's going to put 4 JW Racing teammates within the top 6. These boys have definitely put their time in again this week, Sean, and maybe it's going to be a wake-up call. I'm not saying that any of these guys out here don't practice, but I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say that they don't practice nearly as much as these guys, so maybe they're going to have to start doing that if they want to start messing and competing with these boys in the JW camp.
You know, one thing that also happens with these guys is after the race, they have a meeting to find out what they could have done better. Think about that meeting here tonight. First place, second place, fifth place, sixth place, 12th place right now. And they're probably going to be saying, James Shamewolf, you should not have been in 12th place. You should have been up in third.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm sure they want to get all their cars finishing in the top 5 every week, but in regards to the team championship standings, Sean, only the top 3 scored, so they're going to have a fantastic night, almost maxing out on the points if they can get Michael Larch up another few positions here, and we'll keep an eye on that as it unfolds. But yeah, they always want their guys filling out that top 5 for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. And max points in this series would include everybody, you know, each of them leading a lap, one of them leading the most laps, all 3 of them having clean races, and then being in the top 3. And so basically all that has happened here tonight, except I don't think that Drew Balestros and Michael Larch have led a lap yet. And so if somehow they can get around their teammate to lead 1 lap, they have the potential here to get the first max points of the entire season in any of the series.
Yeah, well, I mean, that can definitely happen if we get another round of green flag pit stops. If they work it out how they want to, they could just leave each car out there and cycle that through. But yeah, one thing is for sure cemented in the history books here tonight. Jacob Manning has led the most laps here at Atlanta. He is dominating this race, has a 4.5 second lead over his teammate, last week's winner, Drew Balestros. So got some lap traffic here, which always gives you some uneasy nerves when you're coming up to lap traffic, but I think these guys know what's on the line here for this 50 car here, and that's a first time win in SRN, and they're gonna give him the high side here.
I really want to go back in the history books here and find out what the largest margin of victory is in Speed Racing Network on an oval. I want to say it's around the 20-second mark, but I don't think second place is anywhere close to that. I think the second best is somewhere in the 8-second range, and so that's highly likely here tonight.
Well, Sean, I mean, I could have had that done in Texas if it stayed green. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that. I'm going to put myself in for second.
Well, okay, we can toot your own horn. We're okay with that here.
Hey, man, I don't get to race anymore, all right? You got to let me relive my glory days. I'm an old man up here in the booth now. I feel like the Michael Waltrip up here. But, yeah, definitely some dominating performances so far within Speed Racing Network, and this is one of them tonight. If it stays green, he could possibly win this thing by 8, 9, maybe 10 seconds if it works out in the 50's favor. So we'll keep an eye on that. And Sean's always got the history in the back of his mind because he's been here from the beginning.
I'm the old guy, but hey, let's take a look back there in 12th position. Kyle Spees. He started off in the 38th position. He is definitely the hard charger right now, up 26 spots, and he's just done it methodically. He pitted on basically the same lap as everybody else. Nothing has really been that different. He is just driving through the field.
Yeah, one of my Rev Racing teammates last year, Kyle Spees, he was my spotter the whole season, man. This guy has the most iRacing IQ that I know out there, and he knows how to get it done. And doing that tonight, like you said, up 26 positions after starting 38th on the night. So that's definitely going to help his standings within the butt kicker hard charger standings. I'll get that list to you next week, the top 10 for the Xfinity Series. But there you see, he's bearing down on Adam Pettit now. Adam Pettit has just fallen through this field. Now, Kyle Speed is going to pick up another one and go to plus 27 on the night.
Yeah, now the good news for Adam Pettit is he's on lap 35 of his pit run right now, so on his fuel run. So it's about time for him to pit anyway to get those new fresh tires and get right back out there. So he's going to gain a couple of these spots back in the next pit cycle. But we were saying if he could keep it in the top 10 to 15, then he could consider that a pretty decent race, and that's what he's done. But I just don't think anybody's going to catch these JW Racing guys.
No, unless there's a caution out that shakes up everything. We thought the same thing on Tuesday with how Joseph Causey was also just dominating the whole race since it was under green flag for the first 90 laps of it. And then that caution started coming out, and then caution started breeding cautions, and it just timed out right where Seth Berger came down pit road just as that yellow flag came out, and he didn't have to come back down under that yellow flag. So he got the track position up there, and then it was just too hard for Causey to get back by, ultimately leading to Seth Berger's first win on the season in the Cup Series.
Yeah, and while we were just talking there was a lot of mixing up in the back there. It looks like Taylor Smith in the wall once again, and everybody was kind of scattering to get around him, and I believe the 29 got into somebody as well. So just a little bit of damage back there in the back. Doesn't really affect anything. We're still green, but it did kind of just mix some cars up a little bit.
We'll see in the first pit stop on this second round of green flag pit stops, and that's going to be Logan Joyner making that call to come down early here. He's in that pit window to make it to the end. Let's see if it pays off for that number 3 car here. Season 1's champion. We'll see how it works.
And you could have you saw some damage there, and that was from that little mix-up that we just had. So that's, I believe, his first damage of the night for Logan Joyner. And so I think he just had to come in, and he is actually getting repairs done. So that is some significant damage in order for him to be sitting there for longer than the 15 seconds.
Well, I'm going to keep my eye on this, Sean, because Jacob's losing time to Drew Balestros behind him, and it's all due to this lap traffic in front of him. Now he's worked away or in front of 2 of these 3 cars, James Kerr and Zach Deutscher. Still got Kyle Ryan in one of them. These guys don't want to go a lap down. We only have 21 cars on the lead lap, but I don't think Kyle Ryan's going to have much of a fight to put up here. He's going to have that 50 going way high here and get a big run out of turn 2.
He's not going to let him go very easily here, but he's going to basically have to let him go. I mean, Jacob's just that much faster, but definitely ended up losing Jacob about a second by kind of holding him up. I mean, and again, you can't blame the guy for trying to stay on the lead lap.
Oh, no.
I mean, nobody can blame him for doing that, although some drivers don't like it when people do that, but it is what it is. I mean, get out there and drive.
Yeah, you're not out here to make friends and be nice to everybody. You're out here for yourself, trying to get the best finish you can, and it kind of hinders that when you go a lap down. So we have 21 cars a lap down and 21 on the lead lap, or excuse me, yeah, 21 on the lead lap. Seeing Josh Marcy coming down pit road this time.
Yeah, I mean, that's how much this track has spread these cars out, that we have that much lap traffic. And it is fun to have these long green flag runs because you get to see a lot of really good racing and stuff like that, but it also does catch people way down in the pack. It's going to be really interesting if a yellow does come out here, what that does to the field.
Well, I know for sure it's going to bunch them back up, and Jacob Manning will not like that. But you know what? That is racing sometimes. You don't always get what you want. I feel like they made a song about that. Not too sure, Sean. You would know better than me. But, yeah, with the speed that he's had here tonight, I don't think he would be too worried about it. And just have to keep focused, and that's what these JW Racing guys do. They stay focused and keep that eyes on the prize.
Well, just kind of looking back through the pack here, I mean, again, nobody on pit road right now. I think Ben Park is coming off of pit road, but a little bit interesting that they're waiting as long as they're waiting now that they are inside that pit window.
Yeah, it's always a dicey line to walk here. You know, you come down pit road early under green flag conditions, you put yourself at risk to get trapped a lap down, and if you're far enough back of the leaders, possibly 2 laps down, and you know, not everybody will get their laps back. I mean, yeah, you can do the wave around, but then that also puts you behind the 8 ball, because when you do those wave arounds, you don't get to come down pit road and get those fresh tires. And I know a lot of people within just the iRacing community in general have been bitten by that yellow flag that comes down right when you go down pit road or just a few laps after. So it's always it's just a really tough decision to make, whether you want to short pit it or not. And also, you know, they just saw what happened to Adam Pettit, who did the short pit strategy. Now he is in 17th. He's down pit road now to get his final service of the night.
Yeah, and that pit strategy is so important. We saw Jonathan Byer last season win 2 races in a row strictly on pit strategy. And so that's what everybody has kind of been learning from last season coming into this season is, okay, what historically and statistically, what's the best time to pit? And you just kind of have to stick with that strategy unless something else happens out there.
A few other guys on pit road right now. Look, Brandon Domain going to come off pit road, and Lucas Lyons also on pit road, starting to heat up on pit lane for this last round of pit stops. We'll see when the leaders decide to come down, but just as Jacob Manning cleared that traffic, he's regained that second that he lost to those guys behind him. And now Drew Balestros has his hands full with Burger Nation. Seth Berger back up to second in that 77 Ford.
Yeah, and Burger Nation is strong out there in the YouTube chat as well. Just want to make a quick little note. Logan Joyner, who went into the pits and was staying in there for damage, he has disconnected. So it was bad enough that he had to get off the server.
Tough break for our Season 1 champ here tonight. Not the result he wanted, so he's going to have to use one of those drop weeks that we always mention to everybody that they have in their back pockets. But battle right here for the 52 and the 25, kind of a mirrored image there with the numbers as they cross the start-finish line. Kyle Spees is on a mission, and that's a mission to the front of this thing. He is at plus 32, and he has another one set in front of him, Max Service in that 89.
Yeah, Spees is 11 seconds behind Manning, and that time has actually been falling. And so I'm wondering, and maybe you can pull this up, but I'm wondering what the difference has been between between their gap here in the last few laps. I wonder if Kyle Spees is faster than Jacob Manning.
Oh, you're gonna make me do work here. Let's see if I've learned from the best. Let's see how I do here. Look at that, Sean. You did teach me something.
I'm telling you, you are the king. And you can see there that Spees has been faster, and he had 1 lap of slower, but the most of it, he is faster than our leader right now.
Yeah, we'll see this time. He did lose that last lap, and I think that's because he's battling really hard with these guys for position. Now he's got, I think that's that Ben Park or Dan Park. I can't remember which one has taken over the 23. Ben Park. Sorry about that,
Park,
Ben.
yes, Ben Park.
Man, so many brothers in the league. But yeah, besides that one lap on lap 78 where he's been battling for position here, he's been faster than our leader every time. So good catch, Sean, and way to go. You taught me well here.
Man, I haven't lost my touch yet either. So, I mean, we are really going to have a good race here. If he keeps gaining, at this rate, he's not going to make it all the way there. But if Manning runs into a little bit more lap traffic, Spies has a shot at this thing.
Yeah, and we're pretty much trying to jinx it into existence like we do. If he gets that caution and starts within these first 2 or 3 rows, he's not going to have 32 cars to get by. He's going to be battling for this thing now. In the top 5 makes easy work. Max Service, who's looking like he's going to come down pit road this time.
Yeah, and I mean, there's just all you can do is just throw it out there and hope it sticks, and that's what Kyle Spies is doing. Starting off in 38th, up in 5th position now, and it looks like Tristan Bailey is about 3 seconds in front of him. So he's still got a little bit of time there, but if he can get a good pit here in a few minutes, then there's a possibility that he could come out ahead of Tristan Bailey.
Yeah, crossing the stripe to go down to 28 laps to go. We're just a few laps away from seeing that hashtag Go Faster appear on the scoring pylon, and we might make this thing flag to flag, green flag racing here in Atlanta. I'm just trying so hard. I don't know why. I'm a jerk like that, but Nathan Sylvia looking like he's coming down pit road this time to get that last service and get back out there. And I've been really impressed with this 36 out of JBR. This guy's fast.
Well, out there in the YouTube chat, Sue Nowak, who is always here to watch Kyle Spies, is saying, "Don't jinx Kyle Spies. Stop talking about it." So we'll stop, Miss Sue. I apologize.
Well, I'm sorry. Don't yell at me. But yeah, we got top 3 contenders here. Drew Balestros coming down pit road. Tristan Bailey. Oh, he messed up the pit entry again, Sean.
Oh my goodness! And I mean, he's going to look back on this race, and he is just going to be upset at nobody else on the track except for himself.
Tough break, man. Just worked his way back up from what he lost, and then is possibly going to lose some more this time by. And you just can't write this script. And yeah, it's just something that he's going to have to work on. And luckily, a lot of time left in the season to get that worked out. Like we mentioned, man, he was in the final round of the playoffs. One of the 5 guys I was competing with last year. Yeah, you noticed I had to tout myself a little bit more there, Sean. But yeah, Tristan Bailey, one of the best in the series, having a tough go of it here tonight, and he had a tough go of it last year, too, in the season finale in Atlanta. So one of these tracks he's going to have to really work on here in the next couple of seasons.
Seth Berger and Michael Larch both pitting right now from 2nd place and 3rd place there. Oh, I'm sorry, Kyle Spies pitting as well. So now Jacob Manning finally coming into pits a little bit later than everybody else. That's going to give him a little bit better tires towards the end.
Yeah, just again, I want to point out, 34.24 on that last lap. The best lap he's run on fresh tires, 32.1. So it is a 2-second difference. He doesn't want to give up too much of that lead that he's already earned, especially if you stay out maybe only 2 or 3 more laps than these guys. It's not going to be as big of a difference on those fresh tires, and he could definitely lose a lot more than he could gain. So he didn't want to let too much time slip out of his grasp here. So good call by that 50. But Bo Tiffany is going to be our leader now. We'll see when he decides to come down.
And just looking at the pit lane time, Jacob Manning was about 2 seconds faster than those other guys that pitted at that 2nd place and 3rd place cars. So, I mean, he's winning on the track and he's winning on the pit road. Man.
Yeah.
How do you beat that?
Nailed it. And you see it, the hashtag Go Faster up on the score pylon. It's that time where it gets down to the nitty gritty. And James Shanewolf, like we said, I figured something would be worked out amongst these JW cars, and he's getting that extra bonus point just in case he is one of these top 3 JW cars here scored tonight. It's been running 5th out of the 5, but still a top 10 car nonetheless, and he's going to come down and get that final service on that 53 Camaro.
And it's like they designed this race from start to finish. It's almost like a walkthrough in football practice where you just decide this is exactly what we're going to do and exactly win. And they are just killing it out there.
Well, Seth Reed going to assume the lead as he is out there. Maybe, it might work out for Seth here. He pitted on lap 75, which is 10 laps before Jacob Manning did. And that is a big time between him and Manning with 23 laps to go. Now, we saw this with Pettit last time, who did have a little bit of damage on that 58 Ford Mustang. But I don't think it's going to be too tough a feat for Jacob Manning to catch back up here. You just see that time running away here on the scoring pylon. And Sean, I'm going to try it again here. I'm going to try to pull up these two guys and see what the difference is.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit interesting now. So, it was Kyle Spees pitted about a lap sooner, and look at the difference now. A second per lap to the good for Jacob Manning. I mean, what do you do? I mean, what do you do?
You just hold on, and right now Seth Reed is just praying for a caution at this point, and I know exactly what's going through his head. So he is really trying to will that into existence. We'll see the difference here, and I just imagine it's going to be another second here chipped off on lap 89 for Jacob Manning.
Well, he is going to hang out there as long as he possibly can, and so he pitted back on lap 74, so about 11 laps ago, or 11 laps sooner than Jacob Manning. So his tires are definitely older, but if he can get another 2 or 3 laps here, and then there's a caution of some sort, then he might be sitting okay, because that might force everybody to pit again.
Yeah, I mean, it could really work out for Seth. You know, they've run 4, 5, 6 laps. For some of these guys, a little more on this set of tires, so they're going to want to come down and get fresh tires if that caution does come out. But I don't know, Sean, man. With the way this race has gone, 90 laps to the green so far, not sure we're going to see it here. This thing pretty spread out on the track. A few disconnects so far that have packed up the car and headed home, and it's just freeing up more space out here, and that lead down to 3.5 seconds. So Jacob Manning is coming in a hurry.
Yeah, we got a little bit of good racing out there. We were talking a little bit earlier about Aaron Gerwitz, and he's up in 8th position now. So he was marred back there in 16th or so. Now he's worked his way up, so good to see him up there. But another couple drivers that we haven't really mentioned, Josh Marcy in 7th place. He's up 23 spots from where he started. So a couple of these drivers that started off in the back finally making their way up front.
I'm not seeing that on my end. I don't see Gerwitz and Josh Marcy in the top 10. Where are you getting these numbers from?
My scoreboard. Am I wrong? I may be wrong.
I could be wrong. I don't know what's going on. You just got me all confused now, man. But one thing I am not confused about is that 50 coming in a hurry here. Seth Berger also just 4 seconds back of Jacob Manning. And Kyle Spees has worked his way back up, I believe, in the 6th position potentially here. That's not who I wanted.
And now your scoring has caught up. So there's Gerwitz in the 10th place, and Marcy up there in the 8th place. So
I never doubted you,
scoring.
Sean.
It's okay. It's okay. It's all right.
Hey, you gave me this scoring, so
I agree.
I blame you. But yeah, you're right. Great runs here tonight for Josh Marcy and Aaron Gerwitz. These two battling side by side, so great run here, great battle on the track, and they're going to want to pick up a few more spots here before this thing all said and done. But 10th and 9th place, 15 seconds back of our leader. Just shows how dominant it's been for Jacob Manning. And there he is. He is right on the bumper of Seth Reed. So luck might be running out for that 81 here tonight.
Yeah, he is going to drive by him so quickly here. And after that, it's just all over, I believe. But Seth's going to do everything he can going into this corner, but just watch these newer tires hold that bottom line and just go right past him.
Yep, he's going to say, see ya, and there he goes. Although holding up strong there on the outside, and he has cleared him and slid right up in front of that 81. Jacob Manning takes the lead back here in Atlanta and sets his sights on that checker flag with 15 laps to go. Only 18 cars scored on the lead lap. So this man putting on a clinic out here tonight. See if he can get it done into the end of this thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of these drivers are going to be extremely happy to get this race behind them and not have to come back here for the rest of the season. At the same time, it has been a fantastic race out there. We've seen some good driving, and anytime you have this much green flag racing, it's a good thing.
Well, I think it's a good thing for Bailey to still be in the top 5 after the night he's had on pit road. I think he'll pretty much count that as a victory. So glad he was able to kind of, fix that. And I don't know if fix is the right word, but save a good run here tonight. Now Nathan Sylvia working to the inside of Adam Pettit. And unfortunately for Pettit, he was just never given the chance to fix that damage. He had a great car here tonight. He's going to try and limp to a top 10 finish here potentially if he can hold off for another 12 or 13 laps. Yeah, we're on 13 to go. I can read, Sean. I can read good.
I said nothing. I said nothing at all.
I knew you were thinking it, man. I knew you were thinking it. But, Kyle Spees moves up in front of his old team captain now. And Kyle Spees now up 30 positions, running in 8th place. So we'll see if he can get up there and get that top 5 finish for this 25. But, no shot at winning this thing here tonight.
Well, Jason Tripp and Sean Kozier, our race admins, have had a nice, easy, lazy day up there in the booth. And that's kind of how it works out. When Jason Tripp shows up in the booth, then everything goes right for him. When we show up in the booth, everything goes wrong. I mean, that guy, he's got a horseshoe, and he just keeps it around.
Yeah, you better be careful what you say, because now Tripp might just put you in the booth all the time, and might just get green flag racing all the time. So, I put you to work here in the booth, and then you get a nice lazy day. I knew you couldn't go without taking a jab of the team or the league president.
It wouldn't be the first time that he stuck me in the booth.
Well, I'm happy to have you in the booth, Sean. And, it's nice. And I know everybody out there will have a good kick out of it, too, to see you back up here. But great race, man. We couldn't ask for a better race here tonight. And you're right. It's crazy how Atlanta just produces some of the best green flag racing we have on the season.
Yeah, and right now out there on the track, and the reason we're not jumping all over the place and everything, really there is nobody within a couple car lengths of each other right now, and that's really why we're kind of sticking on Jacob Manning and watching our leader just kind of run this thing to the ground. There's just not a lot of side-by-side right now. Everybody's kind of like leveled off and just kind of been happy with where they're at.
Well, if you're happy with this broadcast and Speed Racing Network, do hit the like button and hit that subscribe button like you just saw, and hit the bell there so you get notified any time we go live. We get great racing every week. It's a 20-week season here. And, man, some of the best drivers on the iRacing server putting it out here week in and week out. And Jacob Manning, one of those here. He is looking like he is set on getting that first win of the season. So go ahead, hit all those buttons down there. Who doesn't like hitting a good button?
Oh, man, I love hitting buttons all over the place, but I'm just looking to see how far ahead the next lap car is from Jacob Manning, and it's quite a little distance here, so he's going to have a couple laps before he hits anybody else, whereas Seth Berger and Seth Reed back there in second and third, they're fighting lap traffic right now. So really, if I'm Jacob Manning, I'm just holding back. No reason to race a lap car to get to the finish line here with, 8 laps to go?
Yeah, good call. Probably smart racing out there. And with all his teammates out there, they're probably reminding him of just that fact. But, yeah, JW having a great go of it. They did have 4 cars in the top 6, so not sure exactly what happened to some of them, because it's looking like they only have 3 in the top 10. But Jacob Manning, Drew Balestros, and Michael Larch showing a few of them. Matthew Robinson is going to be the last car on the lead lap. Just as my scoring updates, he's in 12th. So just ignore what I said.
Well, the other team that's really having a decent night out here is Tank Racing. So they've got Seth Berger, they've got Max Service, so that's second place to sixth place. Now their next driver is Michael Lepicki back there in 26th place. So, yeah, that third driver is kind of far down the list there, but their top 2 drivers are going to get some points out of this. So don't count them out of the team standings overall, or at least that second seed.
Oh, yeah, Tank Racing, and it's just funny you mentioned that, because the 2 teams that came down to the team championship last year and ultimately tied with 110 points each to their name in that final race in Atlanta. I mean, that's just insane that happened and worked itself out that way. But, I think that these 2 are poised to be the top 2 teams here again this season, and that's not to take anything away from the rest of the league. I mean, Jonathan Byer Racing has shown a great improvement this year in the Xfinity Series, so I look forward to seeing what they can do. And Rev Racing has always taken pride in this Xfinity Series, and I think that they'll be around as well. But yeah, just all these teams have great talent, and no more than JW Racing right now. They've just put on a clinic since the drop of the green flag at Daytona.
Yeah, some of the other drivers to make mention of a little bit further in the pack here. So Nathan De La Rosa from Jonathan Byer Racing back there in 21st. He started off in the 35th position. So a nice little run for him. He might pull a top 20 out of this thing, but if not, even 21st after starting off 35th is great. Raul Meza back there in 24th. He's up 13 positions. So some of these drivers just methodically make their way through the pack, and that's a good race for them.
Yeah, it's a great race for a lot of these guys, and it's going to go to their credit, too. I mean, like I said, we have a butt kicker hard charger on the line this year, so that is a standings to keep an eye on. And like I said, we will have those standings for you next week. Wanted to let a few races get underway here to get those numbers for you, but 3 laps to go before Jacob Manning has that checkered flag in his hand, so yeah, nobody really around him, no lapped cars around him, and he's got his sights set on that thing.
I will tell you there's a little bit of a cluster back about half a track behind him, back here around 10th-ish place, that sort of thing. There's a few cars around each other. It's not crazy yet. Just kind of fair warning out there that there are some cars around each other.
Yeah, I am not sure what's going on with the scoring here. I got to figure this out for all you guys, but Kyle Speed's still on the lead lap, and he is our butt kicker hard charger, but for some reason being scored at 37th on my tower here. So we're going to get that all sorted out for you guys in the coming weeks, man. iRacing really didn't cut me any favors when they did that reconfiguring of the graphic settings, and got to get that sorted out. But we're coming to the stripe to take the white flag, Sean, and 1 lap to go here in Atlanta for Jacob Manning. You see it in the air. Time to get it done and time to make some money here for the leader.
And congratulations to these drivers on the first green flag to checker flag race that we've had this season. Incredible driving by everybody out on the track, but especially Jacob Manning for what he did here tonight. 4.6 seconds ahead and pulling away still. Just can't. There's nothing you can do to beat that.
Yeah, he's going to come off turn 4. Oh, he got a little bit looser than he probably was. I think he might be doing this on purpose. Yeah, he's going to do a little Chase Elliott across the line because he's got nobody to worry about. And Jacob Manning just dominates here in Atlanta in another dominating performance by a JW Racing machine here.
Yeah, just an incredible job by everybody out there. But yeah, JW Racing once again is going to come away with the most points here tonight and extend their lead in the team championship.
Yeah, so this winning moment, as always, brought to you by TJ's Team Foundation. And man, the 4th different winner, I believe that's right. I'm trying to think now. There's been so many of them. I believe it's the 4th different winner for JW Racing as a whole between the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series. So they're not just getting a bunch of wins. They're getting a bunch of wins from a bunch of drivers at that. So just such a talented stable. And, I mean, yeah, they still got James Shamewolf, Michael Larch, and Matthew Robinson, who can easily get W's any given weekend too. So, Sean, could this be the year that we see a winner from each driver on a team?
Absolutely. 100% yes. I mean, you've got to think about what JW Racing has done here in the first 3 weeks of the season, and go ahead and go back to the duels as well. The way they drive together and the way they work together, I'm going to say this with all the respect in the world to every other team out there. It's time to go faster, boys.
Yeah, it's kind of hit those practice sessions. We talked about it, how much these guys practice, and you could just tell that it pays off, man. Just stunk up the show here tonight and led darn near every lap. If he didn't have to pit under green flag conditions and had a few yellow flags to pit under, I think Jacob Manning would have led every lap here tonight. But, what's 110 when you could lead 100?
Yeah, I mean, and just, again, a ridiculous performance out there, and we're definitely going to check and be sure that he is not a machine. I mean, he just hit every single mark he could possibly hit, and now he's hitting his marks backwards, too, out there on the track to celebrate. I mean, this guy is just unreal.
Yeah, I wonder. I've got to talk to these guys. I'm going to see if I could set up an interview here with Jacob here for the gearing up segment this week. And I think one of the questions I'm going to have to ask them, Sean, is do they practice these backwards laps? Because it seems like they all do that, and I love it that they have a specific way to celebrate. It's kind of cool that they have their own thing. But they make that look easy, and it's not.
They don't have to practice; they do it in the real race every time.
That's true. That is very true. But as he's celebrating, we've got some business to tend to, and that is going to be the top 20 here on the night. So let's go ahead and bring up our results for this evening. Jacob Manning, like we said, the dominant performance here tonight, wins by over 4.5 seconds over the Cup Series winner from this week, Seth Berger out of Tank Racing. Seth Reed going to come home in third, so a great run for him. And I mean, him and Drew Balestros were tied coming into this week. Looks like we'll just have to see what the bonus points say, but we'll see if Seth Reed reassumes the points lead in the Xfinity Series. Drew Balestros comes home in fourth. Tristan Bailey rounds out our top five after a difficult night on pit road for that 88.
Yeah, Max Service, who started off on the pole, he's going to drop back to sixth position here. Kyle Spees, our hard charger on the night. And sorry, I just probably spoiled that. But,
Nope, you're good.
Our hard charger on the night, up 31 positions to take his top 7. So Bo Tiffany, with just a classic Bo Tiffany race, started off in 7th, ended up in 8th. I mean, he was right there where he was the entire time. Nathan Sylvia with a great run there in 9th. And Michael Larch, another JW Racing driver, he is going to round out your top 10.
Yeah, Matthew Robinson, another one, going to come home in 11th place. Adam Pettit comes home in 12th after a tough night, gets into the wall, and doesn't have the fortunate break go his way to maybe get that damage fixed under caution. Still a good night, comes home in 12th in that 58 Rev Racing machine. James Shanewolf, the 5th car in the standings for JW Racing, comes home in 13th. Not too bad. And then Aaron Gerwitz in 14th. Kyle Benson in 15th.
You know, Jack Hedgecock's in 16th with a really good run. Started off 26th, worked his way up. Joshua Marcy, kind of the same deal. Started off in 30th, worked his way up to 17th. Brandon Domain kind of had one of those races where he just couldn't move up through the pack, but ended up there in 18th position. Lucas Lyons with a good race up in 19th. And Tyler Murray will round out your top 20.
All right, well, that is your results here tonight. We got a few guys waiting in the broadcast waiting room. Let's go ahead and bring up Seth Reed here to the broadcast booth. Seth Reed, it's Greg Olenek and Sean Griffith up here in the broadcast booth. Congrats on a solid third-place run tonight, maybe helping out your standings in that the Xfinity Series points. Tell us about the run tonight. Man, that track looked wild and hot out there. The cars looked really loose, so you got to be happy with a third.
Yeah, for sure. It was really slick, for sure. I think track temp was 130 there at the start of the race. Definitely didn't expect it to go green, so kudos to everybody for that. I was kind of planning on a caution there, so I let Jacob get away a little too far and just couldn't recover from that. So just got a bonus point there, and that's kind of what was my main objective, was just trying to pad the bonus point lead for the playoffs.
You know, coming into this race, you were in second place in the standings overall. Actually, I'm sorry, you were tied for first coming in overall. And now you see these JW Racing drivers just really, really going to town on people. What is your strategy in the next few weeks to compete against a team that has it together like that, as well as some of these other drivers that are just solidly in the top 5 every week?
That's a great question. It's just attrition pretty much in these races. We're all around the same speed, just to give or take a half tenth here and there, and that's the difference. I mean, Manning was a half tenth in qualifying. He was about 2 to 300ths quicker there, about pretty much from the start of the drop the green flag. Would gain on him a little bit, and then he would gain back on me, and I tried something out in that second run, and it didn't work out too well, and I just couldn't recover on the time. Short pitted just to get some bonus points, but knew that wasn't going to win the race. I was hoping a caution would fly when everything cycled through and I was in the lead, hoping just to gain that track position on him, but never panned out.
Well, before we end this conversation, I'm always curious to ask when we go into a track like COTA next week, how are you feeling about Circuit of the Americas. You've had a great start to your season, winning at Daytona, solid run at Phoenix, and then you come home in third here tonight. How you feeling about Coda and Austin next week?
I'm looking at Twin Rings. That's about it. I'm just, yeah, I'm not a road course enthusiast, so.
Fair enough. Well, Seth, before we let you go and celebrate with the rest of the teammates on a great night, you got any friends, any family, any sponsors you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, just Brewdog, you guys, Trip. He's great. He's a great race control, and just everybody in the field tonight. To be honest with you, everyone's kept it pretty clean, and yeah.
Hey, Sean, did it sound like he complimented Trip a little bit too much there?
Yeah, I did not like that, Seth. Let's start this interview over. No, I'm just kidding. We love Tripp in this booth, and hopefully I just don't see him on the track. So
yeah, we'll keep him up there with you.
That's right.
All right, buddy. Well, have a good night, man, and have fun celebrating. And we'll see you in Coda, but I know you're setting up for Twin Rings.
Yep, I'll see you in Twin Rings.
All right, bud. Well, that was Seth Reed, who came home in the third place position here tonight. Let's go ahead and get up to this runner-up, Seth Berger, and bring Seth up into the booth. Another Seth in the top three. Seth, you won in the Cup Series race in Atlanta this week. Come home runner-up here tonight. Didn't have really what it takes to get to that 50 car because he just dominated this thing. But, man, like I asked Seth Reed, this track looked really wild out there in these Xfinity cars, which just have lower downforce. Was it a handful out there tonight?
It was an absolute handful, but it was a blast, man.
Well, tell us,
Well,
man. Or go ahead, Sean.
I was going to say, out there in YouTube land, there's always so many people for Burger Nation out there. Tell us what that does for you out there on the track. Is that something that boosts you along?
I definitely think about it when I'm running out front. I want to make sure I put on a good show for them. I don't want to waste their time, keep them up late, running in the back, So I like to put on a show for them.
Well, you certainly do each week, and I've always enjoyed asking this next question. I can't remember if I asked you because I talked to you on Tuesday. But, man, we're heading into Circuit of the Americas next week. It's just one of the toughest road courses on the circuit. How do you feel about that? And do you feel like you have a good shot maybe being on the podium again next week?
I think I might run okay in the Xfinity car on the road course. I can understand it a little bit better than the Cup car, but again, I'm not that great at road courses. But I try to get better every time I run them. I'd like to score a top 10 there. And then, if I get some luck on my side, like on Tuesday, maybe I could get a podium. Who knows? But I got a lot of work to do to get there.
Well, I have no doubt that you will put the work in because you're having a great start to the season in both series, and really putting your Berg Arts, fashion line out there because it's getting a lot of TV time. But before we let you go, Seth, you got any friends, any family, any sponsors you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yes, sir. I'd like to thank Burger Nation for checking in, tuning into the race. Glad I put on a show week in, week out. Try to do it most weeks, and I definitely plan on getting a win here this season and multiple. And then check out Burger Arts on Instagram. Got some cool stuff up there. Do custom orders. Got some stuff up there for sale. Just hit me up for anything. Also got to thank Blood Brothers for sponsoring me the Cup Series and Tank Racing. And also got to thank Tank Racing as a whole. They've helped me out a lot, get better at iRacing. And Ferguson Farms, Boss Security, Kieran Dental, Hunter Don Anesthesia, Park Brothers Racing, Parkway Lanes, Teespring Healthcare Billing Incorporated, and EWRL. And thanks to Devin for spotting me tonight. He's helping me navigate those lap cars that they were not making it easy out there. Wish they did. I think I could have gave them a fight there at the end.
Well, you might have just opened up the floodgates. You might have a lot of people knocking on the door of Tank Racing with you giving them a shout out for putting on the performance and helping you improve on iRacing. Because Seth, man, you are absolutely killing it this year. So we look forward to seeing you in Austin and the rest of the schedule. We got a tough schedule coming up here, but I have no doubt we will see that number 77 Burgart sponsored Ford Mustang up at the front, man. Have fun celebrating, and we appreciate Burger Nation stopping by as always.
All right, yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Seth Berger coming home in second tonight, but Sean, it's that time. It's bring up a winner here, a first-time winner here in SRN. Jacob Manning, it's Greg Olenek and Sean Griffith up here in the SRN broadcast booth. Man, congrats on a dominating performance here tonight out of the JW Racing camp. We've talked to a lot of your teammates already so far on the season. Tell us about this win and what it means for you to get a first-time win in such dominating fashion.
Oh, it means a ton, and it's awesome. I knew if this was, if there was a place to get it done, it was definitely here. I love this track. I love this layout, and unfortunately, it's going to go pretty soon. So, I guess it makes it even more important. It was probably the last time we're going to run on this old surface, if I'm correct. So, to put the last one in the books like that is awesome, and then to add on top of the points and everything for the team and make some money back for Justin, who makes all this possible, is just cool. It's awesome.
Well, man, when we were in the pregame here, Greg asked me, who are you picking tonight? And I had to stick with JW Racing. You guys have just been on fire, and I got lucky, and I chose you. So broadcaster's curse, it does not exist. But my question for you is next week. We've seen you guys be really good at the super speedway, really good at the short track, really good on this mile and a half. How good is JW Racing on road courses?
I'm honestly, I'm not sure. I did a practice earlier in the week with one of my truck teammates, but I haven't gotten in a session with the Xfinity guys yet. So I'm hoping to get some laps in with them. I've already gotten some. I learned a few things from different league we did way back when. So I think I got it down. I'm going to definitely be giving the team some tips and trying to help them out. And, I guess that's really what it's all about for us, is just doing as well as we can for the team. We don't single anyone out. We share our tips. We share, fuel strategy, mileage, tire saving strategies. Everything is shared with each other in the team so that we can all get as best of a finish as possible. Not to mention the laps that we put in. We got sessions all the time going up. I mean, sometimes we even let, the league members come in and we do a little fun race thing, but we're always putting laps in, always trying to be better, never really satisfied with how good we've done. We're always chasing more.
Well, you might have a few people wanting to join you guys on those sessions, but Sean, I just want to let you know you're not really a broadcaster anymore, so maybe that's why the broadcaster's curse didn't stick tonight.
That's fair. That's fair. One more thing, Jacob, and we said it during the broadcast. I mean, we got to get some JW Racing hats, man. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Let's go.
Those are sweet.
I could send you my address right now, Jacob. Come on. Let's play with you.
It's not me. I'll talk to Justin, though.
Well, you brought up your teammates, man, and you kind of elaborated on it a little bit. What does it mean? You're a rookie here this year. These guys, a few of them were racing in the Xfinity Series last year, and JW really showed up and made a statement early and made it to the very end of the team championship standings. What does it mean to have these guys to lean on each week? Rookie in the season, this season for season 3, you have a lot of veterans. What's that mean for you?
Well, it certainly helps a ton. I mean, coming in here, I had no clue what I was getting myself into. I knew that, we had a ton of people running the league. I knew that it was, one of the better leagues, but I hadn't raced with anyone. So I had no clue what it was exactly going to be like. And it's awesome. I mean, the admins, the way they run this league, it's crazy. It's like nothing I've ever run before. It's so professional. I mean, to come to Atlanta, what was it, 130s, 140s, something like it. Was very hot, very slidey, to have 0 cautions and, some fantastic racing throughout the entire race. I mean, it was just, it's cool. I mean, where else are you going to find that?
Nowhere else.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, it helps a lot to run with those guys who have, done this before. Give me some tips on what I'm, trying to do strategy-wise. Usually you're not banking on too long of a run, but hopefully a long run. Well, I was able to just go out the door and, start with it's going to be a long run off the bat. And then I guess I just got lucky, no cautions at the end, and was able to bring it home. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, you call it lucky, but we're calling it good, man. You dominated here tonight. But before we let you go, Jacob, celebrate with the JW Racing boys on another awesome week here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. You got any friends, any family, any sponsors you want to give a quick shout out to?
A ton, man. We'll start off with our sponsors, our team sponsors, who make this happen, make our team work and function. Rogue Energy, which you can use a 10% code off, JW Racing, Saloon Door Sports, Mirrored Mechanical, Roof Sport, and of course, always Justin Rideout. I can't stress enough how much this wouldn't be possible without that guy. He's such a cool man to come out here and make all this happen for us. I mean, this guy paid what, $200 out of his own pocket for each of us to come in here and race for him. So it just adds even more to how cool it is to win and make some money back for him.
Well, I have no doubt you guys are going to keep making some money back for the boss, Justin Rideout, as the season goes along. But Jacob, congrats, man, on the first win. It's always good to get that first one off your back, especially 3 races into a season. So we're looking forward to seeing what you can do in these next couple of weeks. We got, like you said, Coda, Twin Ring, Pocono, Watkins Glen, and Talladega coming up. I have a feeling you're going to be making some noise. So have a good night, man, and have fun celebrating.
Y'all too. Thank you, guys.
All right, that was Jacob Manning, our winner here tonight out of that number 50 camp for JW Racing. Sean, that was a good one.
I mean, what else can you say about it? I mean, a completely and totally dominant race for not just Jacob Manning, but for all of JW Racing. And now we go into the fun part of the season where we've got 2 road courses. We have Talladega coming up. We have a brand new course in Twin Ring. So believe me, this season is nowhere close to over. I think we're about to really shake things up as we go into that Coda race next week.
Oh, you're 137.2% right, Sean. I just made that up off the top of my head. And it's just, I don't even know how to explain it, but all I'm going to say to all the guys in this league is y'all better wake up, because JW Racing is not playing around. They are going for a sweep of everything. So you guys need to hit the practice sessions, get out there, and put in some time, because, like you said, it's going to get dicey here in the next couple of weeks. A lot of uncertainty, I think, is the best way to describe what's coming ahead, because, yeah, just some tracks that people aren't comfortable at or have not turned any laps or don't even own necessarily yet. So it's going to be a fun one here. Definitely come back if you liked what you saw here tonight.
Absolutely. Do not miss out on another race this season, because, like I said, we're getting into the fun part. Honestly, I mean, that Twin Ring race, I am so amped up about that, because we are going to get to see something brand new to every single person in the league. I have not heard of one person having that track yet. And so we're going to really see what happens.
Yeah, and it's cool, too, because a lot of people are optimistic about going there, which is not usually the case when you have a track that nobody has run or necessarily even owns on the sim yet. But it's going to be a good one. So like you keep seeing the prompt, just subscribe, like the stream here tonight. It goes a long way for us to see those numbers. And hit the bell so you know any time we go live. It'll be the same time next week when we go out to Circuit of the Americas. Pre-race show will start at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Green flag will drop around 9:32 p.m. Eastern Time. But that's going to do it for us all here tonight. For myself, Sean Griffith, and everybody else behind the scenes, we wish you guys a good night and go faster.